Okay, and Michelle is asking a question about oh, okay. Her question is coming in, and is what she's asking is, Kieron, you made reference to publishing ebooks and such like. What's the link to that in order to achieve that? And I believe the link is actually Pressbooks. And what you do is basically you go to WordPress, you do a search for Pressbooks, install that plugin, and then what you do after that is if you have a book, for example, you take each chapter of the book and put each chapter into a blog post. And let's say, for example, I use my book, Internet Marketing in the 21st Century, and what I would do is I'd put each chapter into, or each chapter of the book into an individual blog post, but I would call that IM21C. So I'd know that that's for Internet Marketing in the 21st Century, and also so Pressbooks I could easily identify which pages I wanted to include. Now it's important that you only include the book, the content of the book in the category that you set. So that's very important for it to work properly. So once again, you set your category as IM21C, Internet Marketing for 21st Century, and then chapter 1 into a blog post, chapter 2 into another blog post, chapter 3, and so on. Table of contents and what have you, and use it in that fashion, and you should be good to go. And the next question comes from Stephen, and Stephen is asking, I have a Bluehost account. Can I do all my CSS inside Bluehost? And the second part of the question is, I also would like to know, does Bluehost allow you to run multi-site environments? Well, the answer to that question is, in the first instance, the answer is yes. I happen to know that Bluehost allows you to modify all your files, and so that's no problems at all. In terms of a multi-site, again, that's absolutely doable inside Bluehost. I don't know about other hosts and what the terms and conditions are, but just be aware with a multi-site environment where you have one or more blogs, that multi-site doesn't work with a lot of plugins and can cause you serious grief if you are trying to take existing sites and put them into a multi-site environment, that you might get a lot of errors in terms of your plugins. So I'd be very careful and very picky about going down that route. But pound for pound, if it's just blogs that you're managing or you're going to run and there's nothing fancy with their plugins or what have you, then absolutely go for it. There's no problem whatsoever. And Bluehost and I think HostGator and GoDaddy, they all allow that kind of environment because they want people to host with them. So I hope that answers your question, and I hope it works out for you, Stephen. Thank you for your question. Okay, and Alan from, it doesn't say, Alan is asking, you are using Firebug in your demonstration and I missed the part of how to start it. Well, Alan, how dare you miss anything, a minute of my training. How you start Firebug is very basic, and if I bring you over to my screen and we go to, well, let's go to, okay, so if I bring you over to my screen here, we still have Affiliate Royale open, but like they have an image here that's interesting, so I can just come up here to the browser bar and I click on the Firebug, which is here, and in just a second it should pop up, and I click Inspect Element, and wherever my mouse goes over, it brings up that piece of code. And so therefore I want to take a look at the top element, and this is it here, and I can then open it and then come over here and I can use the this here to change the colors and fonts and what have you on the web page, and it's as easy as that. So it's again press Firebug on and press Firebug off, on, off, and it's easy. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. So moving on to the next question. And the next one is from Brian Cox, and he's asking, okay, we've had this question before. Kieron, what video do you recommend for using on WordPress? I don't want to use YouTube, and I don't want to have Flow Player showing on my videos. Well, I answered that question just a little while ago, and it's absolutely Amazon S3, and you can just take the link from Amazon S3, throw it into WordPress, and there you have a beautiful video player without incident. Oh, I should mention as well, though, the only problem with the WordPress player is if you have a series of videos, so say you had 6 videos on the one page, then it becomes a little bit troublesome because WordPress preloads all videos. So if you have one or more videos on a website, it can become slow because all the videos are loading at the same time. So it's probably a good idea to separate out your videos into individual posts or pages and to avoid that issue. But other than that, that's how you do it. Okay? Okay, so the next question comes from Sheila, and Sheila is asking, can I have more than one blog on my website? The answer to that one, Sheila, is kind of yes and kind of no, because WordPress installs its software and it creates a single blog. But with that said, what you could do is effectively using the categories, just like I described earlier on, in regards to publishing an ebook, what you could do is set up individual categories. So, for example, using the categories tag, I would use blog 1, blog 2, blog 3, and in that way, then you can post only to that blog. So you might have entertainment, you might have social media, you might have people and lifestyle, and such like. So each section, each category is in fact, could be treated as a new blog in terms of what you're trying to do. So I hope, Sheila, that's helpful, and I hope it works well for you. Okay, and the next question is about the navigation, and can I change the text on the navigation bar? Okay, so what you could do is very simply go over here to your appearance and to your menus, and it will allow you then to change the text in those links. It's pretty easy. So for example, about me on my homepage, here it is here, and as you can see, I can go in here and I can change the text in the navigation label. And this one doesn't have a link because it's actually picked it up as a normal menu item. However, if I then wanted to add a menu that didn't show up, I would go in here, enter the URL, and enter my text into the link text and select. So let's just do a little test here. Kieron Lyons.com/test, and what I would do then is just put it up as TEST and add it to the menu, and that should show up down the bottom here as it does. So I select Save Menu, and now if I come up to Kieron Lyons website, my own website, I should, and there it is there, test. So there's no problems in changing any of the navigation links. You just have to do it in that way. The only thing I will point out is that some themes come with multiple navigation bars, so you would have to pick the navigation bar that you want. So for example, if I wanted the top or the start or sidebar, the one page, or in this case, Kieron's main navigation, then I select that menu, then I come down and I edit accordingly as I want to edit my menu structure. So I hope that helps you, and thank you for your question. And the next question comes from Gerhardt, I think it's Gerhardt, and he's asking, okay, he's asking, if I'm creating a background image and it has to be 1 pixels wide, what height does it have to be? Well, if you're creating an image and it's 1 pixel in width, and you want that image to basically fade out, so you would have the top of the image would be blue, coming down it's going to fade out as into white, then it doesn't really matter, because WordPress will crunch it up anyway, and it will determine where the start is and then fade it out, and you're good to go. So I'd make that image, 1 pixel wide by 100 pixels, and I'd leave it at that, because you'd be perfectly fine then. Okay, I'm sorry about the pronunciation of your name. I hope it's correct, and thank you for your question. Okay, and the next question is from, again, it is Eric, and his question is, I have a website that I have 20 something clients, and I would like to scroll their logos below my header. What would you recommend? Well, there's a couple of ways of doing this, and one of them is that the easiest and simplest is to get a plugin for a gallery or something like that, or use the WordPress gallery, and you set up a slider below the logo, and you would have each image showing, and you could then, depending on which slider you use, it would then determine how the images are displayed and how they're actually shown. So you could have a slider where it's sliding slowly but continuously throughout the day. It's really a matter of finding the right slider to do what you want to do. But the WordPress comes with a stock standard gallery, and it does have a slider, so you should try that. And then you should look for other sliders in the plugins area of your website, of your WordPress, and try out different plugins and see which slider does the best job for you. There is other ways of doing it, but it's a little bit more complicated. So I think for the purposes of the question, I'll leave it at that. And so thank you for your question. Okay, so the next question comes from Paul, and Paul is asking a two-part question. Kieron, what application would you recommend for reducing image sizes for your WordPress website? And the second question is, okay, well, we'll come to the second question in just a moment. What you could do is basically install a program, a WordPress plugin, and that program is called Smushit, S-M-U-S-H-I-T. And what that does is compresses all of your images on your WordPress installation. And naturally, WordPress condenses your site's images automatically. But if you want to increase that, what will I say, compression, then you would use a program like Smushit, and it will reduce your file sizes down to something that's quite reasonable and user-friendly. I don't know why, though, if you have a lot of images, I don't know why you have them displaying on your WordPress site per se, meaning that they're in the library, as opposed to why not have your WordPress, why not have all your images, if you're using a lot of images, up on Amazon S3 with links to the website, and that's a much more effective way of displaying your images. So you might want to give that some consideration, because they display just as well on Amazon S3, but without having such a heavy load on your server. So you might want to give that some consideration. So the second part of your question is about social media buttons and such like. I'd just simply go and use a program called Add This. You sign up for it, and it will allow you to configure all the social media buttons that you want to use. And then there's a plugin. Once you sign up, you get the plugin installed on your WordPress website, and then you add it to your widgets, and the buttons appear on your web page and on your blog, if depending what way you want to set up. On that point, I do think it's worth saying, though, that an awful lot of people go overboard when it comes to the social media sharing buttons, and they add all sorts of buttons which are really not necessary. I mean, when you think about it, like, unless you're a B2B business, why is LinkedIn on your social media sharing buttons? It's just not necessary. I personally would recommend that you go with Facebook, you go with Twitter, you go with email, and possibly G+, and leave it at that. Because when you put in all these other sites like Pinterest, Pinterest, Instagram, and such like, it's getting ridiculous, and you have to think realistically, like, what are your visitors doing? How many of them do you think are on all of those social platforms? So, like I said, I would really keep it to the bare bones of what's usable, and that is to be Facebook, to be Google+, and Twitter, and the biggest one, by the way, for social sharing is actually by email. So make sure your email is included in the social sharing buttons. And with that, I think you'll be perfectly fine. So again, the program's called Add This, and you sign up and get your account. You configure your social buttons in the Add This program, and then you download the plugin once you're set up and install it, and then apply it in your widgets to your website. And I hope that answers your question going forward anyway. Okay, and Alex is now asking the following question, and the question is, hi Kieron, thank you for the super training. I would like to ask, is there a way to check each of the browsers, how my website appears in each of the browsers? Let me think about that. Yeah, you could download each browser and look at your website, or equally you could basically go to a site that's called, we just go to a website, and basically you go here to browser shots, enter your website URL here, and it will search all of these versions of all the search engines, or I beg your pardon, browsers, Linux, Windows, Mac, and BSD, whatever that is, and it will come back with the results for you. It's as simple as that. Or as I've said, very simply, just download each of the browsers that you're particularly interested in and see how it goes. There's no reason it should cause you any problems whatsoever. So thank you for your question. Okay, so we're coming towards the end of this question and answer session. It didn't take as long as I thought it would. But now we have a question from Jenny, and Jenny's asking, Kieron, is there a way to grade your website? And well, yes, there is, and it's all subjective. It's relative to what you're asking. But if you want to grade your website, there's loads of software out there that will analyze your website. For example, W3 Schools analyze your website and for errors. There's pingdom.com that you can analyze your pages of your website, which I do recommend you actually do. And you do that 3 or 4 times after you've made changes to get to the right level. But the first place that you would obviously start is by making sure that your website's coded properly and that each of the elements of the web page are coded properly and displaying properly. And then I go to pingdom.com, and it's actually tools.pingdom.com, and then I would analyze my website. And if you use that URL, by the way, that's free. You don't have to pay for it. But that's it. It's as simple as that. Just go to tools.pingdom.com and see how you get on from that point of view. But I think you'll find it to be more than adequate for what you want to do. And we have a question from Jonas, I think it is. It's Jonas or Jonas. And he's asking, Kieron, what do we do with membership sites where we have our pages are protected? I believe Google penalizes sites that hide content. Well, no, they don't actually. Google doesn't penalize you. The bottom line is that, certain membership sites will allow snippets of what's on a page to be found in the search engines in order to get people to their website and invariably get them to sign up. But I mean, I'm running 4 websites or 4 membership sites at the moment, and I've never had that issue, and no, I don't know anybody with that issue. So, but basically what I do is I basically protect all the content that needs to be protected. And in fact, what I've done in my latest endeavor, which is the website that you're on right now, is that I've set that up purely as a membership site, and that's KieronLyonsEntrepreneur.com. But all the selling of this site is done via KieronLyons.com. So when you click to register or to sign up, it will bring you to this website, and it has the same team on both. So it has the same look and feel, same style, same colors as each other. So it's very unlikely that you're going to see any big difference, other than one minute you're on KieronLyons.com and you're looking at all the different products and pages and services, and then when you go to buy one, it's only then that it takes you to KieronLyonsEntrepreneur.com, and you buy the product or the service. It processes it on KieronLyons.com or KieronLyonsEntrepreneur.com, and it collects your credit card details, processes your order, and then it fires off your membership information. So I don't think you should be worrying so much about it, because you're listening a little bit too much to Google. And I'll remind you, like, are you in business, as I said earlier, are you in business to keep Google happy, or are you in business to make money? And I think the answer is yes, you're in business to make money. So again, it's like when we spoke earlier about the opt-in pages. I really wouldn't worry about it, because protected content is protected content. And therefore, by virtue of the fact that it's protected, Google is instructed not to scroll those pages or to crawl those pages, and you shouldn't have an issue. But just simply protect all the pages you want and just be happy with your life. Thank you, Jonas, for your question. And the next question comes from, and Jasmine asks, where is the best place to locate a calendar? Well, a calendar is very simple. One, you can get a calendar from anywhere, and I mean, there's Tribe, Tri.be, does a very nice calendar. They do a free version, which is very good, and also a paid version. But when you have a calendar and it's installed as a plugin, I would simply, if you've got an active calendar, then by rights it should have its own tab. So I would stick it up on top, and when somebody clicks the page, that they click into it, and they have this full page calendar. And I don't see any reason why to change that. Equally, don't forget also, with a calendar though, you can put a calendar as a widget in the left or the right hand side navigation bar on your website or blog, or indeed you can put the calendar again in the same fashion in the footer of your blog. So I think the best idea is basically to put your calendar where people can see it, and that is to add it to your menu, make it a month's view, and everything should work out fine for you. And the next question comes in, and it's asking, do you pay for each of your photos? Yes, I pay for every single photo that I use on my website, and you should too. It's not really a good idea to go to Google Images and just grab photos and put them on your website. They obviously belong to somebody else, and you didn't pay for them, so you don't really have the rights to use those photos. I use, from time to time, iStock photos. I use PhotoDoom, which is really good, because you can get photos from sort of $3 to $5, and they're very, very, very good when compared to iStock Photo, for example, which is a little bit more expensive. Photos are, they're an oftenly debated issue, and a lot of people just take them from Google Images and think, nothing's going to happen and nothing really should worry me. But in fact, it should worry you, because you don't have, as I said, you don't have the rights to those photos, and therefore you could land yourself in very big trouble. So I'd use PhotoDoom for sure, or iStock Photo or something like that. Shutterstock are in places. You get plenty of photos, and it's better to pay for them, because you have the peace of mind then that, okay, I paid for my photos and my website is solid and it's in regulation, if you like, with everybody else. So thank you for your question. And the next question comes in from Brian, and Brian is asking, under what circumstances, Kieron, would you not use a WordPress membership site? Well, Brian, I don't really, when I think about it, and I sort of say, well, I can't think of any reason why I would not use a WordPress membership plugin to run a membership site. I mean, I've set up and installed hundreds of membership sites over my life, or indeed my career, for myself and for my clients as part of my training programs. But I can't think of any reason why I would want to use an external membership software that has nothing to do with WordPress. I mean, years ago I can't even remember the name of it. I bought a membership site for $500, $495, and this is about 10 years ago, and I couldn't use it. Bottom line, I could not use it, and it's bought and paid for. I still have the license, and I'd never ever go near it, because everything that I want to do in a WordPress membership site is achievable. It's achievable by either hard coding in certain cases, or by adding plugins and getting it to work in that way. So Brian, I really don't think there's actually any reason why you would want to use an external membership site at this stage. The one thing I will say to you, that all I remember from my experience was the one that I bought, it claimed to create pages and all sorts of things, but it was so difficult and hard to code. It was just unbelievable, and it's just not worth the trouble. So while I'm being an advocate for the WordPress membership plugins, I'm not really sort of anti going with your external website membership software, but I really just want to understand the reasons behind that, and I really think you should think carefully about that. But thank you for your question. The last question, this is great. The last question comes in from Franco, and Franco is asking, Kieron, I have a question relating to membership sites and content delivery. How do I deliver my content and or membership site, to my users? Do I need a third-party plugin or gateway to do that? Well, Franco, the short answer is no. If you have membership pages and you're selling them, you basically set them up on WordPress and just create the membership sign-up form with the link to PayPal. Or if you're using a shopping cart, you just equally put that product into the shopping cart and you create the buy button, and people just come, they read, they see, and they click through, and that's it, you're done. Now, if on the other hand you're asking about digital products and you're selling, there is a program called Easy Digital Downloads, which protects your content and allows you to, I think it kind of works like a shopping cart, but at the same time it does protect your, say, images and what have you on your website. Say you're an artist, for example, you can show your images on your website, but nobody can download them or right-click them, for example, without first buying them through Easy Digital Downloads, which is a plugin that works on your site, so it's fairly seamless how that actually happens. But you might want to check that out also. So, ladies and gentlemen, that kind of wraps up all your questions for this session of WordPress beginning to end. And I firstly would like to thank you all very, very much for all the questions. Some of them were really great questions. I don't think there was a stupid one in all of those questions. So I really hope that I answered the questions that you asked. I hope I answered them in a way that's coherent and transparent. And I'm really shocked at how many people were asking questions, because the WordPress beginning to end is a very important part of your training, and it provides an awful lot of information of what you can use and where you can get it and such like.